So after taking an extended break, one Christmas Eve, when I walked off the choir in order to allow my choir director to hear the soprano section without my leadership, following a year and a half of scouting around to find a goodness of fit, I'm not allowed back on the choir from my original 8-year-long position. And the pastor has the nerve to tell me that that the whole choir was concerned about me. Obviously, they've been gaslit by the choir director that was let go. And decided that not only is this not a goodness of fit choir, but that this is not the ministry for me. And that that this ministry is not suitable for me, and that I can't deliver this ministry after 8 years long of servicing them in this way, and for 1 year and a half of servicing other churches in this way who are begging me to become a regular, wherein I've been ministering part-time. So after part-time status. So other choir members were permitted to walk off and, out of tiredness. Their humanity was allowed. Their humanity was permitted to say, okay, well, this is getting to be too much for me at this point. But maybe you can call on me for special occasions or part-time. That's all I was looking for. And the pastor said, no, never again. So what I'm thinking is that it's because I've been exploring the problem of Roman Catholic abuses that are on the internet, and that these things have been raised to my attention since I walked off the choir. So I'm never welcomed on a Roman Catholic Church choir again. However, my Monsignor, the Monsignor that spiritually directs me, acknowledges, that abuse has gone on in the Roman Catholic Church, and that systemic abuse essentially goes on everywhere, and doesn't hold it against me for exploring the problem. It's a real problem, and it's a responsible citizen's right to explore it. However, before I started exploring this as an issue, the choir director had it in for me, and I can't exclude the possibility that no good deed goes unpunished, so that after having invited a very young guest, his father must have gaslit my reputation as, a family member, relative, had it in for me. And this is why the choir director has decided to gaslight the entire choir to make them so concerned about me. And he was quite vicious and misrepresenting of my personality. However, the pastor that said that singing in the choir is not a good ministry for me, which other church choir directors would beg to differ and have been begging me to become a regular for the past year and a half since I left that church choir. This same pastor who is misrepresenting me and not allowing for my humanity, not allowing for me to just become burnt out and get tired after a while and then recover, has also stated that I'm a good person and that my heart is in the right place. So I'm allowed to continue attending wings, women in God's Spirit, but not allowed to minister, not even on special occasions or part-time, upon the choir that I led as first soprano, while the other more professional sopranos took the second soprano status. And perhaps they were jealous that I was carrying the first sopranos. One time I was required to do that with a brand new piece, sight read it by myself, leading two stooges, as it were, that landed on us who had zero experience in this area. Now, this pastor is trying to estimate my social standing and musical disposition without while refusing on a regular basis. Anytime I reached out to him, he refused to have a conversation with me. And this is the role of a pastor, is to have give and take conversation. So because he was refusing to have a conversation with me, I poured my heart out in letters. Now, he seems to think that that is not the best way to communicate, when in fact, he was compelled to say from reading them that, while I was unhappy with the situation at hand, that I'm a good person and that my heart is in the right place. So, make up your mind, right? You can't say that I'm a good person and my heart is in the right place, but that you thoroughly disagree with me. Especially since the choir director was let go. Okay, he moved on, but it's awfully coincidental that after I walk off the choir, a year and a half later, he leaves to move on when he was supposed to be a permanent fixture. And that was one of the reasons that he was hired. He had it in for me from the get-go, just because I was unable to vote for him. I was unable to vote at all because I didn't have access to a computer. At any rate, so I've been gaslit in this particular situation by a rigid pastor and businessman. Essentially, said that the problem isn't personal. He said it is professional. And so he's very image conscious, I suppose. So I'm not allowing for my humanity, that after 8 years of constantly servicing the church, that should be allowed to get tired and take a break.